Weird. Weird. Don't be embarrassed about opening your mouth and letting rip with all you've got. Weird. Weird. Don't be embarrassed about opening your mouth and letting rip with all you've got. Weird. Weird. Don't be embarrassed about opening your mouth and letting rip with all you've got. Weird.
I've got news for you.
Weird.
Is this a joke?
Weird.
Can you prove that it didn't happen?
I promise you, I know all the latest wrestling holds.
You're going to accuse me of being a man.
It had control of my mind. I had no will of my own.
It's winking at us. I bet it's just a publicity stunt.
Not afraid of a little radiation, are you, man?
You've been seeing things.
You want to do it again, don't you?
Yes.
But you can't just sit there.
I'm built for it.
She's the best part of my life. She's been spent amongst the dead.
You get that funny odor? How can I miss it?
What do they want? Where are they from? Where are they going?
I asked you first.
Beyond logic,
How about that?
defying description. Only TNT can provide a home for wayward films.
Oh boy.
Plug in every Friday night for movies guaranteed to be
100% weird.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back from our pretty long intermission. An intermission.
Man, I would have loved to have seen the fun-filled family life of Danny Thomas.
Danny Thomas is banned from 1% Weird. You know how he acted last time, throwing
Well,
beer
I know
bottles.
how he acted in his home life. Are you familiar with that? That's a famous thing.
Oh, is it like ring-a-ding? Oh, he's slapping his kids or something?
No, I don't even know. I don't even know if I should say it on the show.
Don't.
Okay, this will be. I'm gonna say it just so you have the visual in your mind. He was one of those who I've mentioned this to you in the past. One of those famous.
And I
Hollywood
probably put it
cases
out of
that-
my mind to save my life. So let's reburn the trauma into my brain. Go.
Right, exactly. He would invite women over to his home for parties and lay under a glass table and have the woman straddle the table and go number 2 while he looks up through the glass table. That's a famous Hollywood story. Him and oh god, there was another, not Sid Caesar. I'm not going to denigrate Sid Caesar, but another television comedian of the time who had the same exact famous kink. Yeah, Hollywood. Now there's a tale from the Twilight Zone. Oh boy.
Okay. So for context, outside of what Brayton just did,
and I didn't do anything. I don't like glass tables.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
People in glass tables should not shit on them in houses. Yeah, that metaphor.
Context outside of what Brayton just said. We used the Twilight Zone episode, The Hitch-Hiker, ironically, to do the intermission, and it was a full 26 episodes. And according to Shay, he says he's never seen that episode before, and it was pretty good.
One of the better spooky ones, really. It's a marvelous performance at the center of it by Inger Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
She was in another one, too, or maybe a few of them, actually. But yeah, this is sort of a famous radio play. Orson Welles even did a version of this story on his Mercury Theater radio drama. So you can kind of watch those two back to back. But no, this is a great one of those of the creepier variety that's not on the huge moral lesson genre basket.
Yeah.
This is one of the better ones.
Yeah, just a good fantasy chiller, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that's very interesting about the episode, unfortunately I didn't get a chance to rewatch it completely, but I have seen it quite a bit because, as you people probably know, ladies and gentlemen in the audience, I mean, me and Brayton, more so Brayton, are big fans of the original Twilight Zone. And I think one of the main reasons for that, at least for me, is just how beautifully written and just how kind of sophisticated it is compared to a lot of the attempts to try to bring back the Twilight Zone, where they only take the wrong lessons and just focus on the scary twists and the kind of darker minutia of the series instead of all the different elements that made it work. Because it's interesting, I've heard this terminology thrown around recently called cosmic bliss, which is sort of a twist on the old cosmic horror type of ending, where a character discovers a sort of terrifying, overwhelming fate, but then they come to accept it and basically give themselves to it, for better or worse. And had this episode been made today, they would have probably made the ending a lot more negative, a lot more scarier. But the fact that she, hears that, oh yeah, I've been... Big spoiler warning for anybody who's never seen this episode, and we just
hopefully you were
watched
just here watching it.
Yes. The Hitchhiker ends with Anne, the name of our lead heroine, so to speak, discovering
lead character.
Protagonist. Yeah. So lead protagonist. She's still awesome, I say.
Yeah, but a lead heroine invokes like a swashbuckling female.
Okay, fine. Our lady protagonist discovers that she's been dead this entire time, and that the creepy hitchhiker who's been following her is more or less the personification of death. But
the Twilight Zone loved those.
Mm-hmm.
Rod Serling sure loved his human personifications of death.
Yeah. But this one in particular is interesting. I'll get to that in a moment. But that's the part a lot of people forget about this episode. Yeah, they know the twist, but they forget that when she comes to realize what's happened, she kind of just basically lets not her exact words, I'm paraphrasing, but it feels like a huge weight's been taken off of her, and she comes to kind of accept her fate at the end. And it's like, if this episode was made today, the Grim Reaper type character, the Hitchhiker, would be much more nefarious, much more malevolent, and her final ending would probably be a true horror movie ending. As opposed to, it's like, oh, that's right, I'm dead. Yes, you are.
Yeah, she's devoid of emotion, and it's so sort of, an acceptance of the inevitable by the end of it. And it's one of the more enduring, as I said, spooky episodes, one of the more famous ones. And it's a great, as the show always did, it's a great blend of, psychological horror. It kind of fits in with his, semi kind of noir influences, stretching it a bit, but you do have the voiceover narration, and they name drop Detour several times in an episode called The Hitchhiker, so how could I not include it? But just great sort of, psychological horror meets just existential type of fantasy storytelling. But Nan, again, Inger Stevens, her performance as Nan Adams, it's a real tour de force within just 20 minutes of portraying fear and denial, and then by the end, again, coming around to the idea, just the eventual acceptance of it. But and Leonard Strong plays the hitchhiker, and I like the descriptor that she gives of a sad-looking scarecrow man, and that's going to be my descriptor from now on going forward. But yeah, no, it's got a great nightmarish atmosphere to it and a sadness to it. Just a perfect sort of distilling again of what the Twilight Zone would do best, and yeah, very eerie and thought-provoking, and a great piece of 20-minute filmmaking. That's what I love about the Twilight Zone. All of them are just stellar 20-minute short films, that you can study and really dig into. A lot of them anyway have meat to them, so you really can't go. You can't. There are some duds in the road, and we've talked about that on past streams dedicated solely to the Twilight Zone. But if you swing a dead cat around, even a mid-tier classic Twilight Zone episode has at least a striking scene or a performance or a message or, again, an atmosphere that will stick with you and you can talk about.
Yeah. It's funny. This episode, though, in particular, now that you mention it, it's just a good yarn. There's not really like a big moral message at the end.
No, just a spook tale.
Yeah.
A campfire tale.
Yeah. A very good, scary yarn, like a campfire story or an urban legend. But also, like, I appreciate the original Twilight Zone, and Shay does bring up the good argument that the Twilight Zone is probably one of the, if not the best television show of all time.
Yes.
But even when it had a dud, I still deeply appreciate it that, even when there was a few times where this series kind of missed the bat, so to speak, or missed the hit, it's still greatly appreciated because it's still an old school anthology series. As opposed to today where anthologies are so unimaginative and so samey between their various stories that, like, one of the big problems I have with the 1990s 2000 remake of The Outer Limits is, doesn't matter how good the bulk of the episode is, exactly it's going to end the same way regardless. So it's like, I think that's also a problem with a lot of modern day attempts to do the Twilight Zone, including shows that try to ape the Twilight Zone, like Black Mirror. Granted, I know Black Mirror is definitely on the top of the heap, but it's the same, like I said, they take all the wrong lessons from the original series and kind of just do dread and darkness for the sake of dread and darkness. And not only that, but again, these older episodes based on short stories written by well-known writers based on other unlikely sources like novels, imported short films, and like you said, this one a radio play. There's definitely a much more wider influence, or at least a more well-read background to a lot of the original Twilight Zone stories. So,
and just again, I would say it's my favorite. It's in a tie. It's basically my favorite show, and I think it's the most well-written show of the the old-fashioned non-multi-season linear story type of television programs where they were. What is the name for that? It's not. No, I'm not looking for the name anthology. There's like a serialized program, I think, or no, a non-serialized show.
I think you got it right there, non-serialized.
Yeah, of that format, I think this is at the top of the heat. And, Rod certainly, again, not being a science fiction fan, basically at all, and being very unread going into this show, but just a damn fine writer and marvelous at adapting these short stories that have, a lot of them, too, have very intriguing premises, but really it is a genius of adaptation. And even some of the classic episodes, like... Richard Matheson obviously adapted his own short story, but if you watch the episode Nightmare at 20,000 Feet and then compare it to the short story, all the short story basically is just the guy who sees something, and it really doesn't climax all that well. He doesn't have a wife. There's not all these ancillary characters, but in taking short stories and making them feel like mini movies,
flesh them out.
Yeah, and not losing anything at all. That was, just making it so perfect. Nothing like this, and just a great all-around episode, and a wonderful just moment of suspense there too, with the sort of dual kind of esque with her getting caught like on like the railroad crossing with the train coming by. Just really well directed, really well written, amazingly acted. So this is the longest we've spent discussing an intermission for one of these 100% words. It was a good episode.
Yes. Just a quick thing about the episode too. It's like, in addition to just the inevitable, I know I'm saying the word wrong, and there's various reasons for it.
Inevitable
dread that this episode has to offer. I also like how it also touches upon another personal fear of my own: unhelpful people left and right. Because it's like, when you're in a situation where you're like in major trouble with a creepy person or just some very aggressive bully or something, to be surrounded by people who either don't want to get involved or want to blame you because you're the more unappealing scapegoat, so to speak. Yeah, that's not only a constant fear, but I've been in situations like that, unfortunately, and it's probably screwed me up big time. Little peek behind the curtain there, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, it's like, I think it's very similar to what I like about Duel too. It's like, on one hand though, that narrative does get a little maudlin or a little melodramatic, like the whole world is against you. But thankfully they do balance this out wonderfully with that one kind of sweet, if slightly suspect, sailor character. First off, why is there a sailor in the middle of the desert? So, but also, and ironically, that actor has been in Twilight Zone before. Wasn't he on the Monsters Are Due on Maple Street?
Yeah, one of the neighbors, I think.
Okay, yeah. But no, at least they throw him into the story, and at least he's kind enough that, it kind of offsets the darkness and the kind of just outright mean cruelty or callousness of the other characters, especially that old man at the window who just basically closes it on our unfortunate ghost to be revealed.
I'd be that guy.
Yeah.
Getting me out of bed for your drama.
Mm-hmm.
I'm old.
It's me and the lead actress from Carnival of Souls and let's say somebody else. Just asking for help, and it's like, nope, not doing it. Close.
Yeah.
I'll let this Norman Bates guy come in. He seems cool. All right, but I think that's enough for that episode, Twilight Zone.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to go into our final feature for the night, which is also a little over an hour in length, and it is
called The Hitch-Hiker.
I was going to say it's the other Hitch-Hiker. Transfer screen image. There we go. Damn it.
Whoa. Raf's dead. So I'll tell you about The Hitch-Hiker. This is a really taut thriller directed by Ida Lupino, who is a legendary actress and real trailblazing director. Female director. She was one of the very few women working behind the camera in the 50s and the only female director of the classic film noir period. And she did a lot of great films. She did another one with Edmond O'Brien, who we'll be seeing, called The Bigamist, which is famous. There's another film. Oh God, is it called Outrage or something to that effect? It's another pithy, like one-word title, but it actually talks about sexual assaults in a very contemporary, ahead of its time way. She was a marvelous, marvelous director. And The Hitch-Hiker is probably her finest achievement. I don't know, but it's a master class, again, in suspense and character-driven storytelling. It's very much a 3-actor tour de force. You know, they cut away occasionally to, a radio announcer and police on their trail and everything. But set in the Mexican desert, with actual Mexicans speaking actual Spanish in this. And it's a 71-minute movie, very stripped down, very nerve-wracking story about two friends, Edmond O'Brien and Frank Lovejoy, who pick up a dangerous hitchhiker played by William Talman, who was Hamilton Berger on the Perry Mason show. And this decision, much like Tom Neal in the last film, quickly leads to things spiraling. And here it's a life and death sort of kidnapping hostage situation where the hitchhiker reveals himself to be a cold-blooded killer based on a real killer who Ida Lupino interviewed and was freaked out by. And though the names are changed in this fictionalized version, but it's really, really amazing. Just sort of, there's no women to speak of in the film. And for Ida Lupino's handling of just a story of 3 men and the power dynamics there and the non-typical, action-y heroics of these men, actually displaying fears and timidness. It's a really wonderful movie that avoids pretty much all melodramatic things that could come of it. I mean, Edmond O'Brien has kind of a fun freak out in the desert screaming at a helicopter. We'll get there. But just a marvelous psychological, tense thriller movie. So there we go.
Yes, okay, I'm looking forward to this one. We'll talk more about it after the fact, unless we're too tired, and then the commentary is just basically meaningless at that point. But yeah, I am looking forward to this one. Yeah, so let's get right into it. This is our final feature of the night, not counting the music video we have planned at the end. The Hitch-Hiker from 1953. Okay, we go into the darkness, and we begin the movie. And here we go. Movie. Oh, there you are. Check out an RKO Radio Picture R.
Out of nowhere.
This is a true story of a man and a gun in a car. The gun belonged to the man. The car might have been yours or the young couple across the aisles.
Hey, you over there, Doom and Shay.
What you will see is the next 70 minutes will have happened, could have happened to you, for the facts are actual, unfortunately. Well, we're incognito.
You know, I've read his Guide to the Galaxy.
Nice. I don't remember the
something
gun.
about dolphins.
Edmond O'Brien. We love that guy. He's been on the show multiple times. And the other shows we've done on the Twitch.
And Ida Lupino will be appearing in a discussion of a film that Raf and Patrick Galvin watched recently. Called Seawolf, coming to my channel.
Oh, that was her. Cool.
That is Ida Lupino. I bring it up in the podcast, but yes, Ida Lupino, very, very talented and multifaceted, talented woman.
Yeah. All right, let's prepare to love and laugh with this movie based on a real killing spree. Because Brayton loves to bring the charm and the comedy. I spoke too soon.
It's great so far.
A man murders a woman's purse.
A woman's purse.
Yeah. When it gets more intense, I think we're going to lay off on some of the gags. So.
Not so young anymore.
Whoa. I think she's my new favorite person. Based on what
A Lupino Noir.
Yes.
Hot one, oh!
How you doing?
Joseph Cotton's evil twin brother.
Georgie Polyester.
That's it.
Polyester is a terrible fabric.
Jar, come on in, stick the barrel right in my nose!
Well, you shot me in the head. What am I supposed to do now? Oh, this is going to be a creepy pasta. There's Siren Head at the end of this. Oh, he killed Babe Ruth.
Curse of the Bambino. You know, Babe Ruth is in a Harold Lloyd film, Speedy.
Really? The Babe Ruth, not like somebody...
Yes, that Babe Ruth.
Oh, nice.
He gets jostled around in a car. It's amazing.
Another reason to watch a Harold Hill movie. Not a Harold Hill movie.
Harold Lloyd. The Goodfellas, though, is also good, so there's a Harold Hill movie for you.
When you get to the next intersection, why don't you turn south?
Chocolate Mountains are east. Well, they were the last time we headed that way.
Hey,
Who
Edmond!
needs the mountains? Why don't we go to San Felipe?
Ooh.
Nothing to do in San Felipe but fish.
Well, that was the idea, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, we might just pick up a drink in Mexicali. Remember Florabelle at the Alhambra Club?
Yeah. She's
Edmond
probably
O'Brien
dead
is on
by
the
now. It
wheel.
was a long time ago.
Poor old Florabelle. Well, there's no harm in drinking
George
a toast
Lynch
to
is
her.
on drums.
Okay.
I couldn't think of
You know,
anyone
except for the war, this is the first time I've been away from Morty and the kids.
You want to turn back?
No. We've come this far. Mexicali's beginning to sound good.
There's Mamie's. Remember that chime? It's Alhambra.
Wasn't I poisoned there?
It's right down the block.
touch of evil. I was a teenage
Bienvenidos,
shoplifter.
caballeros. Bienvenidos a México. Muchachos, ¿quieren divertirse?
This is the place, senor. Come right in. Juanita's just starting her famous fan dance. You are just in time.
Well, might as well take a look. Hey, Gil.
Wake up, Gil. We're at the chapel. We gotta
Sorry,
make this
friend,
quick.
what's that?
It's probably for the best. He opened the door and he would have fallen on a rock. Died.
Yeah.
Oh, well. San Felipe, here we come.
On a gas? Yeah. Hop in.
We're going to San Felipe. You can pick up some gas there, hit you right back. Waiting out that long? Yeah. You'll light me a cigarette.
Smoke? No.
What are you doing, rolling?
Well, that escalated quickly.
Face front. And keep driving. Sure, I'm Emmett Myers. Do what I tell you. And don't make no fast moves, or a lot of dead heroes back there get nervous. From now on, while you're driving, keep both hands high on that wheel. And you, keep one hand along the top of this seat. The other hand high on that window. All right. Now turn off the next side road we come to. Pull up. Open the glove compartment.
Haskell
What's the
Jr.
box?
Cartridges, 22s.
Give them to me. Close it. Now, this is how we get out after this. First, give me the keys. Now, we all get out the same side. This one. I get out first. Then you. Stand away from the car. And then you. Let's go.
I said all at the same time. Oh, wait, no, I didn't.
The audio issues was with the movie,
Wrap your
so don't
jackets
you dare
around your
blame me.
elbows.
Now spank him. No, it's a public domain film. Okay, they tried their best.
Turn around. We're gonna open the trunk. Move.
And we're all gonna get in, nice and easy.
Discover
Pull your
Henry
jackets up.
Winkler in there.
You.
Come on,
Open the trunk. Both of you, keep your hands on the lid.
I got a great idea, teacher. Get out of the car.
Throw me the keys. Now get the blankets. You'd never make it. Get the groceries, you. Whose gun is that?
Mine.
You like to shoot?
Yeah.
So do I. So I'm warning you, don't try anything smart with me. Move.
Looks like Gold Country.
told you my name. What's yours?
Mine's Gilbert Bowen. He's Roy Collins.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a draftsman. He runs a garage.
That makes you smarter. Or does it? You ought to be all over that windshield. You got lucky. It hit an empty chamber. I had to use it a while back. Now, don't make any more fast moves. I told you the last guy made that mistake.
God, just like doing an Uber.
When are you due back?
No particular time.
Yeah, we told our wives to expect us home when we got there. You got wives, huh? Any kids?
I have.
Just keep thinking how nice it'll be to see them again. There's the checkpoint. Slow down. No talking. If I give you the word, step on it.
Well, no wonder it's so easy to break into America. At least back then it was fun to go back and forth and enjoy yourself on vacation. I learned that from Kid and the Whip. Right movie, right?
This car ride's pretty good. When I get where I'm going, I think I'll sell it. Where are we going?
I love the buffet tray feature.
Pull in the next pump. We'll fill up with gas and get a road map.
Give me some gummy
I got an
worms, too.
idea. Pretty good one.
Got some Nutter Butters affair.
Don't forget the Tootsie Rolls. I love the Tootsie Rolls.
Aquí está, senor.
Gracias.
Speak English, you.
I told you he doesn't understand English.
And I don't understand Mexican. Never mind the change. Let's get out of here.
Oh, you know he's evil because he's racist.
Loco. Give me the map.
Am I wrong?
Take the first side road we come to.
Tarantula country. God, those are big rocks.
Pull up. Keys. All right, now get out like I told you. Here, you're the smart guy. Spread the map out on the hood.
This is a touching scene where it's revealed he can't read.
Get your hands up in the car. Look for a town called Santa Rosalia. How far is it?
About 500 miles.
Is it on the Gulf of California?
Yeah.
Say anything in there about a ferry across the Gulf?
Friday.
Not bad. We're loaded with time. We can make that easy. After that, I won't be needing you guys anymore.
Not the rabbit, you asshole.
Well, I guess we won't be having rabbit for dinner. I wasn't trying.
It's duck season.
Collins, put the can out in that rock there. Give me the map.
Not that one! The other one! That's it! All right, Collins, put the can back on the rock. Don't forget this is loaded, too. Let's see you try it. See how good you are. Go ahead. Not bad. Collins! Pick up the can! Take it out on that point there. If you don't, I'll let Bowen have it. Out on the point, that's right. Further! Now hold it up! You won't get hurt, your buddy's good with guns.
You're crazy, I won't do it.
It's just a game. Go ahead. Collins, hold it closer to you. What's the matter, you scared? Hold it closer. You want me to try it again? I might miss this time. Shoot.
It's just a rear projection of Edmond. Oh, he's gonna die.
Come on, Gil, get going.
Nervous? Relax. All right, Collins, come on in. Fun's over. You guys worked up quite a sweat.
Well, it is the desert and they're dealing with an asshole. Now, this is a very impressive shot because Ida had to really run backwards in order to get that shot.
Yeah.
Collins.
No, see, it was even worse because they had to
What do you
drive
want?
backwards and then
Turn
they
on the
simply
radio.
reversed it.
Oh.
Why bother? All you get is Mexican commercials.
Never mind.
So she
Turn
was
it on.
chasing the car. Cool.
Like a damn T-Rex. They've clocked Ida Lupino at 20 miles per hour, you know.
Get something else. Like what? One of those news guys from the States.
And scheduled for 10 o'clock tomorrow morning at the White House. On the crime front, the police of 9 western states from Washington in the north to Colorado and Utah in the east have been alerted to keep a continuous search for the Kansas desperado Emmett Myers. Reports have placed the killer in Florida, Detroit, and Seattle within the last 24 hours, although most of these tips have been discounted by police authorities. His latest victim, William Johnson, a salesman from Portland, Oregon, was found late yesterday in Imperial County, California. The victim's car, possibly with Myers in it, has not yet been found. The United Nations passed
Shut it off.
all-important resolutions by near unanimous...
They're not even close. You guys don't have to worry. Not yet. You can start sweating when they put me in this car. If they ever do.
And a good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sam Hayes reporting your news final. At the top of the news tonight is the report that the hitchhike murderer, Emmett Myers, is still at large. Yesterday, the devil thumbed another ride, and William Johnson of Portland asked him to hop in. Now, William Johnson is dead. In an all-out effort to apprehend Myers, the police have set up roadblocks on all major highways in the western states, and all border stations are being closely watched. Myers is slight, 28 years of age. He's wearing a dark shirt, dark gray trousers, and a black leather jacket. His right eyelid is partially paralyzed. If you are in possession of any information regarding the whereabouts of this individual, please communicate with your nearest office of police or Office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Pull up. Keys. Out. Move. Each of you take one.
That's right, they haven't slept for 5 days.
Get around the car. We camp here tonight.
I know what you're thinking, Collins. You haven't got a chance. You guys are gonna die, that's all. Just a question of when. Santa Rosalia, that's the end of the line. If the cops find out we're together, or if you try to cross me up. You know, you make pretty good targets from where I sit. Anyway, you couldn't tell if I was awake or asleep. Got one bum eye. Won't stay closed. Pretty good, huh?
Now that's a babbling brook, correct?
He's just ranting.
No. The water thing between them. Babbling brook.
It's actually a yapping creek. Or maybe a jabbering stream.
A gossiping pond.
No, that's what we do.
Yeah. If I had a video toaster, I would still put a giant tarantula in the background just to be an ass.
Have you ever put a video in your toaster?
No, you know, the editing program.
But have you?
No, it doesn't fit. I've tried.
Lather it with butter and see what happens.
We're getting out here and buy some grub. We get out of the car like usual. You guys go in the store ahead of me. No Mexican.
Need plenty of butter for my toaster.
You. He tells you how much you pay. Is that clear? Now, one other thing. I'm going to have my hand in my pocket. So far, my record in Mexico is clean. I want to keep it that way. Let's go.
So I won't have it in my pants. That's...
Buenos días, señores.
Helpo!
Bless you, my son. Oh no, she's gonna be killed, isn't she?
Buenos días, señores. Provisiones. Tengo un gran surtido de frutas y legumbres, ropa, calzado, al mismo precio que existen en Tijuana.
What do you say about Tijuana?
He says their prices are about the same as in Tijuana.
Never mind the kid.
What do you want?
Some beans and stuff. And tomato soup. I like that. Get 4 cans.
He wants 4 cans of beans, 4 cans of tomato soup, 3 cans of chili. It's no use. He doesn't understand English.
Well, you're not talking Mex. Take the cans off the shelves. Give them to Collins. I can take some more. Go on, load it up. That'll hold us. Pay him.
15 pesos, 10 centavos, señor.
Oh, this won't end well. I hope it ends well, but it won't end well.
Dame una manzana. Dame una manzana. Dame una manzana.
Get her away from me. Put the kid down. Let's get out of here. Come on, Collins.
Hasta luego, señores. Muchas gracias.
Vaya usted con Dios.
What'd you
I
say?
know how you guys feel about Kenny's.
What did you say to her?
I said, go you with God, little one.
Get in.
Hey, mister. You live in El Centro? I live there sometime. Nice place, huh?
I don't know how to be nice to people. And then Tarantula, but right there. The rear projection effects in this one is a lot better than the last movie, that's for sure. Even got some dust there. That was like Industrial Light and Magic level in the basement back then.
In dust. Real light and magic. Industry standard.
Mm-hmm.
It is RKO.
Oh yeah, they were pretty good at the rear projection. I bet that car's rear projected
Where'd you
right
get the
now.
watch, Bowen?
My wife gave it to me.
Throw it over here.
Jesus, this guy. Needy.
Didn't you hear me? I told you to throw it over here. I had a watch like this once when I was 17. Nobody gave it to me. I took it. Knocked off a broken down jewelry store in a little jerk town outside of Tulsa. It was a cinch. You guys are soft. You know what makes you that way? You're up to your necks in IOUs. You're suckers. You're scared to get out on your own. You always had it good, so you're soft. Well, not me. Nobody ever gave me anything. So I don't owe nobody. My folks were tough. When I was born, they took one look at this puss of mine and told me to get lost. Well, I didn't need them. I didn't need any of them. Got what I wanted my own way. When you get the know-how and a few bucks in your pocket, you can buy anything or anybody.
Anyone.
Especially if you got them at the point of a gun. That really scares them.
You ever been at the other end of a gun?
No. And I never will be. I'm gonna listen to the news.
Turn it up. We'd like to hear what's going on.
You just get the grub ready. Anything interesting, I'll let you know.
I gotta find an excuse to raise the hood of the car and put that radio out of commission. First time he finds out they're looking for us together, we're through.
Never mind the radio. I'm not gonna take it anymore. We gotta get him.
You can't beat him that way. You give him one good reason and he'll kill us.
We gotta take the chance.
As long as he needs us, we'll stay alive. When he gets ready to jump us, we'll jump him, not before. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow.
But soon and for the rest of our lives, there I had to do it.
Were you plotting against
Johnson's
me?
car. They know I'm in Mexico. And they're looking for you, too, in the Chocolate Mountains. Where are the Chocolate Mountains?
Across Fudge Falls on the other side of the Candyland board.
Well, what do you know? That's where you told your wives you were going, huh? And you came to Mexico. What for? Dames? You boys ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Causing all that trouble. Telling lies. They got everybody and his brother looking for you in them mountains.
Tarantula.
I told you to turn the radio on.
I did. Takes time to warm up.
Try another station.
Stop it! Stop it!
I can't. I gotta pull up and disconnect it.
Then pull up!
Oh, and raise the hood. Keep your hands on it. All right, Collins, get to work. Get the right one the first time. Don't fool the radio wire.
Oh no, this poor guy.
Faster, faster! I thought you were a mechanic!
I'm going as fast as I can. The threads are frozen.
Watch it.
That's like me going through the hood.
Mm-hmm.
Head down, see no evil, know no evil.
Shay recently left us, by the way. He says, "Sorry guys, I'm getting too tired. I'll catch this on the archive."
Rest in peace.
Throw the tools in the back.
May God be with you in Spanish.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
The radio, remember? Make it work.
I can't.
Pull up. So you did bust it, Collins.
Cut it out! He didn't do it. It's the static in the hills. Stations aren't strong enough in the daytime. Tonight it'll work.
Tonight it better. Take the wheel.
Now, in Punta Prieta, in August the 7th, 3 Americans stopped for provision at a store owned by Jose Andrade. Andrade gave an accurate description of Meyer as being one of them. Another witness stated that 3 men came out of the store and drove away in a green sedan bearing the same plate.
This confirms our theory that Collins and Bowen are with them. He seems to be heading south, all right. Staying clear of all main highways.
Exactly. Now, to the west, this is more or less barren and would afford no means of escape. His most logical move would be Santa Rosalia, then Guamas.
Sure that fire's out. Pour the coffee on. Get down!
Tarantula. By the way, we have consistently been having 6 viewers throughout the whole night, so...
Closer look at that car.
What's your favorite Quentin Tarantula film?
Through there. At the other end, lie flat. Get going.
Tarantula.
The Hateful Eight Legs?
From dusk till tarantula. Jackie Brown. But she's a tarantula.
Jackie Brown Recluse?
How's that really?
Come on, I'm making the jokes here. You gotta pull a little weight.
Kill spider bites? No, that doesn't work. Okay.
Get a move on.
Kill Ben Parker.
What are you trying to do, wreck it?
Drive like I tell you.
Kill Babe.
That's a fine pig. If I was in the theater, that would have scared the hell out of me.
Out! What did I tell you? Shut up! Get that spare tire out and go to work. Move! Keep working. Keep your trap shut no matter what. I'll be watching.
Oh, they're dead.
Buenos días, señores. ¿Son americanos? Do you need any help? Qué raro. No me contestan. Bueno, vámonos.
Darn Americans invading this country of ours, not being able to speak.
The search for Gilbert Bowen and Roy Collins, now believed to have been last seen with Emmett Myers, mass killer, is being stepped up by the hour. Helicopters are working in shifts, scouring the entire area from El Centro south to the Gulf of California. The planes are maintaining close liaison with the ground, reporting isolated cars and campers. The Mexican police have now joined this strange race against death.
Perdone, ¿no vieron a alguien en el camino?
Sí, señor. Pasamos un carro.
¿Qué marca?
Oh, la marca no me acuerdo. Era un sedán verde. Por cierto que tenía una llanta ponchada y 2 hombres le estaban arreglando.
¿2 hombres? Favor de abajarse.
Con mucho gusto.
Señor Alvarado, creo que estos saben algo. Si le enseñamos la fotografía, posiblemente...
¿Pasaron ustedes 2 personas en el camino?
Sí, señor.
¿Ninguno de los 2 que pasaron se parecía a este?
Honradamente no sabemos, señor.
¿Cómo a cuántos kilómetros de aquí los pasó usted?
Pues verá usted, como a 10 kilómetros.
¿Sobre el mismo camino?
Por ese mismo camino, señor.
Muchas gracias.
De nada.
Ya se pueden ir. Quédense en este crucero. Voy a ver si los alcanzo.
Oh, just one guy's gonna look. Yeah, he's doomed. I'm such a neat freak. I wouldn't ever have done that. I would have screamed oil and then run away. Black Scorpion.
Maybe put that on a double bill with the Black Cat and Black Panther.
Hold it right
Triple bill. Yeah.
And Blackula.
Around.
We will be doing a Blackula night, by the way. I'm just letting everyone know.
Oh, I know my favorite Quentin Tarantula film, Black Widow, also known as Jackie Brown.
F
is for fake. That wasn't a Quentin Tarantula film.
So it's basically Quentin Tarantino if he was a giant tarantula.
One of you on the pump.
That's the joke.
I don't get it. Brayton shoots me. No, he's not. He's gonna kill the dog, isn't he? Ass. He's racist and he hates animals. This sounds like everybody working in the White House right now.
Lo de la gasolina no me importa. Mi perro. Hirieron mi perro.
Lo siento mucho, amigo. Vamos a tratar de aclarar esto.
Encontré este anillo junto a la pompa de gasolina y tiene una inscripción adentro.
Marty and Gilbert Bowen. Mayo 12 del 41.
Sí, pronto. Now, as you will notice, when interrogated at the roadblock, the man and his wife were very definite in their statement that they only saw two men. This was below El Arco. There is a point, however, which we feel is of importance. The couple stated that the behavior of the men seemed strange, that they refused to talk to them.
Of course, there's a possibility that Myers may have been concealed nearby, covering the two men, which would account for their behavior.
We are following through on that possibility.
Now, on the assumption that Myers is listening to the car radio, we're issuing these broadcasts in the States containing false information as to his whereabouts and not connecting the two men with him. We'd appreciate your cooperation in following the same procedure.
You know, the uneven audio, you can assume some of these people are secretly analog androids.
One could assume that.
I got a little bit of a laugh.
This ought to be the main highway.
It isn't.
What do you mean?
Looks like an abandoned airstrip.
Well, it's okay for tonight. Head over there.
An abandoned airstrip? No, that's Woodstock 99. Don't go.
No, Ray, you're wrong. You're wrong.
It's no use you trying to talk me out of it. Tonight I'm going to chance it.
You're out of your mind.
I've played it your way long enough. From now on, we're each on our own.
It's no good. We gotta stay together. I told you that.
If I get a break, I'm going to take it. You do whatever you want.
My ears were burning.
It's giving me flashbacks to when I had a sleepover at... Oh, fuck! Now I forget the guy's name. It would have been a really funny joke, too. Host of the 2000s Twilight Zone.
Forrest Whitaker? No, not Forrest Whitaker.
Yes, Forrest Whitaker, because he has the weird eye. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Flashbacks to when I had a sleepover at Forrest Whitaker's house. Had to evade him the same way.
Mm-hmm. You read you a bedtime story. Fight the Empire, never forgive, never surrender. That's Galaxy Quest rafting. You shall be avenged. Oh, now the plot thickens. This is an hour-long movie too. It could end any minute now. Most dangerous game. Edmond O'Brien and his friend whose name escapes me.
Frank Lovejoy.
Is that the name of the actor or the character?
The actor.
Okay. Oh, shite. Oh, shite.
Keep going.
Not Edmond.
You guys are really dumb.
Why, you dirty...
Thought I was asleep, huh? You know, you're beginning to get ideas. I don't like that. Hold him in the car. Your buddy's all washed up for the night.
Yeah, realistically, when does he sleep? There's going to be scientific reports about, you know, if psychopaths sleep more than regular people. Tarantula,
get on the research. He can type really fast, you know. But I hear that Quentin Tarantula writes his scripts longhand. So I'm, you know, he'd be quicker. He'd make more movies if he typed them.
You know, Edmond O'Brien would make a great Joe Jameson. I don't know, what's his name? Spider-Man's boss.
Yeah.
Over there.
J. Jonah Jameson. Triple J. Speaking of Galaxy Quest, miners.
Not
You
miners.
throw a rock down that shaft.
Miners, you dolt.
Nice and deep.
This is fine.
Cut it out. If you're gonna kill us, do it and get it over with.
Thought you never killed without a reason.
Go get the rest of canned goods out of the car. We'll have a real good meal.
A last meal, make it poetic, see? Oh, now the Stockholm Syndrome is sunk in. I'm sorry, everyone. I know Savage was in this one, too.
Save him for the next guy that picks you up. Anything you say.
Dad.
To bring you a flash bulletin. California and Mexican police officials have abandoned their previously held theory that Emmett Myers is connected with the disappearance of Gilbert Bowen and Roy Collins of El Centro, California. They have been missing since last Sunday night, supposedly on a fishing trip. The police on both sides of the border now feel that Myers is traveling alone and has apparently abandoned his intention of seeking escape by way of Santa Rosalia.
What do you know? This kind of changes my plans. Looks like you and me are going fishing after all. On your feet. Head for the car. Let's go.
We'll get some
We're not
money.
going anyplace.
Stand up!
Oh, they pulled a Peter Lorre on him.
What did you do to it?
There's a great big hole in that crankcase.
All right. We'll walk. Just what that sore ankle of yours needs, Collins. A nice long hike. Get up! Now get the fishing gear out of the back.
Move.
Bad day at Black Tarantula. I'll stop that. It's getting old.
Stay with it. He'll never leave you out here alive.
Yeah. Cut the gab.
Can you imagine how soiled your pants would be by now?
Get down!
The beast stalks his prey.
Let's get going.
Shoot first. Ask Edmond O'Brien later. Django
Maybe we'll
unwebbed.
have to leave you here. Too bad.
Come on, Roy, try.
True tarantula. Long way to the fishing hole. This is not going to end well, is it?
The most depressing Hope and Crosby film ever. Since they brought in the third guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Edmond, don't go crazy.
Here we are! Here we are! Can't you see us? Look, here we are! Come here! Oh, please, God! Hear me! Hear me! Come back! Come back! Leave him alone. Can't you see he's praying?
Oh, it's Lieutenant Fumpy. I have a similar body type to him. I can't be too harsh. Belt barely fits him. We got the same problem.
He wears an asteroid belt.
It's a cardboard belt, damn it. The treasure of the Sierra Madre. With Tarantula.
Get under the bridge, quick!
Oh, there's the gossiping pond.
Relax.
I can't tell if that's stagnant water, isn't it?
Have a sip and find out.
Go ahead if you can stand the filthy stuff.
know, Collins, you're just about my size. Put you in a black shirt and dark pants with a leather jacket. You look just like Emmett Myers, to anyone who never saw him.
Ain't nobody in Santa Rosalia ever saw him. Let's change.
Get up in a bank and take your clothes off.
Oh, that's right, they switched clothes. I was wondering why Edmond was holding a gun now. Clever movie.
Push a button. Things happen. Lo frego con meu muno. Look, I took 4 years of French.
You probably speak better Spanish than I do.
Why do we have to park so far away?
Looks great, doesn't it? You won't be there long. Collins! There are cops down there. In those clothes, they might shoot you.
That'd solve all your problems, wouldn't it?
Not if they found they made a mistake, it wouldn't. We'll hit some little joint in the outskirts. I might even buy you boys a beer. Get moving.
Stockholm Syndrome. Like the pepperoni pizza in Breaking Bad.
Buenas tardes, señores.
Buenas tardes.
Give us 3 beers.
Yo no hablo inglés.
He doesn't speak English. Tres cervezas.
Sí, sí.
When I want you to talk Mex, I'll tell you. Sit down, Collins. Rest your sore foot. You can talk it now. Ask him about the ferry to Guaymas. I'll be watching his face. If he starts looking frightened, I start shooting.
¿Cuándo sale el chalán para Guaymas?
Los martes y viernes a las 9 de la noche.
Friday, that's today, and Tuesday at 9 o'clock.
Ask him where we catch it.
¿Dónde puedo embarcar?
En el muelle. Pero ahora no pueden embarcarse, porque el mes pasado se quemó y lo están reparando en Guaymas.
You're out of luck. Ferry burned up. It's being repaired in the Guaymas.
You're lying. Ask him if he knows anyone speaks English.
Yo no hablo bien español. No comprendo. Usted no habla inglés.
Yo no, pero mi primo José sí. Venga conmigo.
He says he has a cousin who speaks English. Follow him.
Up.
José, levántate. Despierta. José, despierta.
Well, this place is a lot nicer without the one-armed
Los
guy.
americanos quieren hablar contigo.
Actually, I know this is a totally different place, but this place is a lot nicer.
What can I do for you?
We want to find out about the ferry to Guaymas.
You want to go fishing? Too bad. No ferry anymore for the next 2 months, maybe. She burned up.
Thank you.
Fishing is pretty good here. Not as good as Guaymas or La Paz, but okay. You have motorboat?
You know someone has a boat?
Sure. My friend Jaime, he have one. Motor runs good.
How do we get to this Jaime?
In the mine where he works.
Let's go.
He's not finished until 6. I fix it for you tomorrow morning.
I want to go now. At 6, then.
By the time my friend gets the boat ready, there is no sun. My friend does not like using too much boat at night. He sees his wife and kids
Give him some
only
more.
at night. For me?
Yeah.
You pay my friend too?
Yeah.
You be at pier at 8:30. The name of the boat is Estrella. 8,000 thanks, senor.
It's the early 50s, so despite the currency difference, that's probably still like a billion groceries.
You go around the town and wait by the water till it gets dark.
Call
Let's
back.
go.
Cry wilderness, said the tarantula. Oh, they're by the ocean.
Hold it a minute, will you?
Hang on.
Oh god, I'm walking through the sand with all that rock. Yeah, that would make the knees weak.
And your arms spaghetti.
And then head
Palms sweaty.
Yeah, head swell.
There goes gravity. Oops, there goes something.
That's a reference to something. I don't know what it is.
Better go
Eminem.
fishing while you got a chance. That's what you
8
came
Mile.
down here for, wasn't it?
The candy bar.
You guys are really fools.
There are M&M candy bars.
If you weren't, one of you would have got away.
Leave me alone, man.
But you kept thinking about each other. So you missed some chances.
We're talking over the gay
You got
subtext.
tired. You slowed down. Now it's pretty late. Yeah, tomorrow I'll be in Guaymas. Too bad you're not making the whole trip with me. That'd be kind of silly, wouldn't it?
You stink, Myers. You smell, just like your clothes. Sure, you'll make it to Guaymas, but they'll catch up with you and put you out of your misery. You haven't got a chance.
Don't.
You haven't got a thing except that gun. You better hang on to it, because without it, you're nothing. You're finished. Shut up!
Gracias, Carlos.
Oh, it's everything so out of focus. I thought I was going to get dramatic and murdery there. Hey!
Caramba.
To quote Bart Simpson.
Pronto, llámenle a la policía. Este hombre estaba en la cantina de mi primo. Se va esta noche en la Estrella, el barco de mi amigo Jaime. No, Carlos, no estoy borracho. Llámenle a la policía.
Translation, don't be an asshole. Give me the phone.
Bueno, la policía.
That goes on for 40 minutes.
La policía.
No, Carlos.
Damn it, Carlos. Why are you so unhelpful? Whatever, Jaime, I don't care. Barely speak.
Hold it.
Tarantula.
All right, Collins. Now you get to take a nice little walk all by yourself. Down the alley and out on the dock. Me and Bowen will follow. If you try to tip anyone off, I'll let Bowen have it. You wouldn't want that to happen, would you? Get going.
Well, this is where it's really going to get suspenseful.
Go ahead, Collins. All the way out. Keep under the lights.
I thought the boom mic was behind him. That was just some wood. Sorry. I hear distant rumbling.
¡Alto! ¡Alto! ¡Alto ahí!
I'm not biased! I'm not biased! You hear me? I'm not biased!
Kick the gun overboard, don't...
¡Alto! ¡Alto!
Also ahí!
Get him, shoot him in the head!
Put your hands up.
Oh, there's a kneecap.
Walk this way.
Hey!
Do as he tells you, Myers. You're all through.
Once an almighty god of the gun and now a wide-eyed nitwit. Get him, Edmond! Beat him up! Yeah!
That's enough!
Lléveselo. I'm sorry. We'll have to have full report. You understand?
Yeah.
Gracias.
It's all right now, Roy. It's all right.
Can we cancel a fishing trip? Sure, Frank.
And they left their wives happily together after.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask you about that gay subtext.
There's a lot of subtext that I'll get to, but
yeah,
what a cathartic moment there for old Edmond.
Oh yeah. By the way, folks, if you haven't noticed, we love Edmond.
Oh yeah. Ooh, that Cracker Jack.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that extra R. Well, let me stop it before the Twilight Zone shows up. Okay, there we go.
Danny Thomas submitted for your approval. You won't believe when you enter the brown zone. Tarantula.
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 Yeah. Woo, tarantula! Whoa. Who'd win in a battle? A gigantic tarantula or a gigantic Edmond O'Brien?
I don't know.
Okay. I like
It boggles the mind.
Yeah. All right, so that was 1953, The Hitch-Hiker, and that was very not nail biting, but definitely nerve. What's the term?
Nerve-wracking.
Nerve-wracking.
Nerve-wrenching. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, because I hate to say it, I guess. Oh wow, we still have 6 viewers this late. Nice, and we're gonna wrap it up soon, folks. Yeah. Okay. So, is it just me, or when you're familiar with an actor and you've come to like him a lot, and he turned out to be a relatively nice guy in real life who never murdered anybody or paid women to do horrible things on a glass table, that you're a little more invested? And we've had Edmond O'Brien on several of our streams before. I know we had the Girl Can't Help It. He was also in DOA, although that was a private watch between us. And that sounded weird. I'm sorry.
But he and Frank Lovejoy playing the everyman caught in your nightmare scenario are an amazing duo.
Yeah, as Roy Collins and Gilbert Bowen. We should call them by their character names from this point on.
Roy and Gilbert, Bert and Ernie. Yes.
Yes.
And this really does get into a lot of new ground for this genre. They're very much not the hardened people in film. They're very ordinary, decent guys. And that's like the ultimate tool in all these type of movies. The more ordinary your protagonist is, the more you're able to relate to them just more directly, naturally. Edmond O'Brien is marvelous. Frank Lovejoy, both of them. I think it's the dynamic there that's crucial, with Collins O'Brien being the more impulsive and hot-tempered one, and Bowen's being restrained, and ultimately, at one point even having to clock him to get him to shut up. But all throughout the movie, that you can tell years of friendship, which we'll get into, but the desperation that they have, in this whole survival game. It's a real tour de force for the 3 central actors, and every bit of their performance feels genuine and really is, it makes you feel like the fourth man there and rackets that tension up.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. And I was, despite the constant jokes about tarantulas, I was very invested in their survival. With everything could have easily gone horribly wrong. And it's funny too, for a movie that's just like 70 minutes or just like 10 minutes over an hour, it felt a lot longer because, again, it was that nerve-wracking and just wondering how bad it could just go at any moment. And you're invested in a movie when you're also thinking throughout, which part can I easily overtake Emmett and get that gun or destroy that gun? Because I saw that part with the cans in the box. Unfortunately, the little girl got in the way, so God bless her, but still, you ruined the plan.
Throws the can at the little girl's head by accident.
Yeah, and she was so close, too, that Emmett could have easily taken her hostage. But yeah, William Talman as Emmett Myers. What a freaking bastard.
Yeah, it's a great, unnerving performance. I don't know how they did the eye effect even is really good. Just someone who has no remorse, just, quiet and menacing. And his little moments of just like the early scene with shooting the can out of Edmond O'Brien's hand, it's a great performance in how sort of modulated and cool-headed he is in his sadism. But no, he's one of the more memorable villains, I think, of noir.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, and again, it's like I know that a lot of people are way more forgiving of villains than I am. And it does get kind of tiring when you constantly hear everybody kind of overblown. Yeah, I know evil is terrifying and unlimited in its destructive abilities, both towards itself and others. But when you have a movie this nerve-wracking and this suspenseful, I should say, it's nice to have like a honest to goodness villain defeat, because it's like I said, it's like he was the lord of the gun, but the minute he lost his gun and he was put in the handcuffs. Great performance where he just, goes crazy and gets scared.
There goes his masculinity. There goes his power.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, Edmond O'Brien gets a few punches in there too. So it's like, but then I love like Grant, like this is not exactly one to one to real life, but the animosity created between Collins and Emmett Myers. It's like what is it? Emmett Myers is there all freaking out because he's now in handcuffs and he's captured. But then the minute Collins gives him a couple slugs, Emmett remembers, oh yeah, I hate this asshole, and then he just spits before he's taken away.
Yeah.
And also, okay, so I do appreciate very much so, like okay, I'm not like, how can I say this without sounding like hateful and not against humanity? I'm not one for Hispanic pride and all that, but it is nice to see these older movies where they do treat Hispanic characters with a level of decency and respect. And it's nice to know that even knowing that they're kind of side characters throughout, they're still treated as real human beings. And our heroes try their best not to get other people into trouble. And that it's ultimately like the Hispanic police officers working with the detectives, and that one guy who, oh God, what are we going to call him? Man with the iffy belt.
Man with the asteroid belt.
Asteroid belt, yeah, I think, not the Inspector General. It's like, yeah, but no, that he ends up putting all together all the clues and kind of coming to help our heroes in the end, our protagonists or victims, if you will. Yeah, no, I deeply appreciate that immensely. Like getting back, like, I know I've been making this terrible tarantula joke throughout the night, but that's how I kind of feel about a movie like The Black Scorpion, where Mexico and the people of Mexico, they're treated in a relatively positive light, as opposed to other movies around this era where pretty much all foreign countries are kind of just played as just kind of sort of like a side detail, if at best I can say. But no, like you said, it was nice that they actually had real Hispanic actors speaking
and I even
Spanish.
think there's a dignity in them not subtitling them too.
Yeah, like you understand. Yeah, you get the conversation enough, especially that hilarious little scene between Jaime and Carlos. It's like Jaime's like, hey, that's the guy on the poster, and Carlos like, yeah, whatever, Jaime, whatever.
Yeah,
give me the phone, damn it. Oh, that's another thing too. Jaime, when you first meet him, you'd almost assume he's that kind of old cliche of, it's like, oh yeah, sure, whatever, of the kind of the tired sleeping Mexican. But no, he sees the wanted poster and he gets into action. And he kind of helps our heroes too.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I deeply appreciate that immensely. So, and holy crap, Ida Lupino as the director. It's like, okay, what other movies have we watched any of her movies in the past? Because I know I remember
not that she
her,
has directed.
Yeah, I remember her from the Seawolf. She was a great lead in that one.
Yes.
But yeah, no, very competent directing here. Really good film noir lighting. So. And it's like I'm seeing this really great picture where she's like directing everybody on the set, and of course Emmett is holding a gun towards the other two, and Collins and Roy and Gilbert are like, come on, and help us. No, I'm directing the scene.
Yeah, 71-minute movie wastes no time in ratcheting up the suspense. Like this movie just starts, all of a sudden with a great sort of shots of him shooting the nameless couple at the beginning, where you just see the purse drop down after the scream and the gunshots. But every single moment in the movie, there's, and that's what builds in the suspense. There's potential danger. There's the potential of them messing up because one is a lot more impulsive than the other. It's got a relentless feeling to it. And great sort of use of limited locations across the the border desert and the Baja and all that. It's a really marvelous restrained approach to anything, because a lot of it is psychological torture and not he's not pulling a Deliverance on them or anything. It's a very sort of psychological hold that he's toying with them and playing with them. And there's a great emotional weight to the movie too, especially at that part where Edmond O'Brien breaks down and is yelling at leave him alone, he's praying. I don't think, if you were unaware, I don't think that you would guess for an instant that and this kind of puts me in a weird spot, that a woman directed this, because this is such like again, there's no women in the picture. And it's such a great inside sort of takedown of like traditional masculinity dynamics and these three main characters that maybe it does need a woman's point of view to really, get into the meat of that. Like a man director, like, you know, your John Huston or whatever, maybe would do this in a more typical way. But the characters are so strong, and yeah, for the filmmakers that we saw after the RKO logo was her sort of production title. So she also worked with Edmond O'Brien, and I believe starred in the film The Bigamist, where they're married, maybe. If I'm correct.
Okay.
But no, she did several great films, and yeah, a really unsung female filmmaker.
Yeah.
And just filmmaker in general. Don't even put like an asterisk on it.
Oh, I know. But it's like whenever anybody makes a big deal, like, oh, there were no good female directors back then. It's like, no, I think this alone is definitely giving her some cred. So, and also a quick question, quick things I want to mention. Doomzilla says that was a fun film noir thriller film. Yes, again, nerve-wracking, suspenseful. I was a little on the edge of my seat, even with the dumb jokes I was throwing out there. But yeah, no, it was a very tight film, and we have a new person in the audience, Quibri. Ironically, they say if you like that one, try Detour from 1945 if you haven't seen it.
Well, turn back the hands of time and watch the first part of this live stream.
Yes, we actually played Detour as our first feature tonight. So yeah, if we're gonna have this archived for a couple of extra days until next Friday. So yeah, definitely go back and enjoy that one. So, but no, between the two films, between Detour and The Hitch-Hiker, while this one definitely was a little more brutal, well, a lot more brutal, I should say, I think I really enjoyed this one more between the two films. So
yeah,
I don't know if I'm going to be casually watching it again.
It's a lot more tightly paced. Yeah, you know, it's one of those things where you can never see it quite the same way again as the first time. But again, as a razor sharp piece of just, you know, taut, suspenseful, stripped down filmmaking, it's kind of second to none, and on a very low budget, and one of the great public domain later films. Because once you get past the 50s, public domain movies don't really become a thing that much. It's you're kind of looking at a time frame 50s and before. But it's one of the great, like, you know, fully sound studio public domain films.
Yeah, no, it was really good. So, and yeah, you tend to forget how many good movies RKO made before eventually kind of fizzled out in the late 50s. Oh my God. So, can we
talk about the undercurrent of gay subtext?
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. Yeah, so apparently Collins and Bowen are closer than we thought.
Well, look, I'm not saying apparently nothing. I'm just saying it's my reading, and the real guys who this is based off of weren't. But I can't help but just look at them as characters, and me being me. It's not overt, but there are certain choices, I think, in the writing and performances, and, you know, the whole, as we've been saying, like there's the masculinity themes and the repression sort of thing does suggest a deeper connection between them. Because first off, you don't know where they're going. They never state explicitly where Collins and Bowen are heading beyond a vague fishing trip, and they're eager at the beginning. They make note of being away from their wives, you know? So there's, you know, there's a sense there that they just simply, and all of this again could be me reading into it the way that I see it because I'm who I am, okay? But sort of like a way for them to escape their domestic life, to just simply want to be alone together, away from their wives, away from that responsibility. So you know, it could be, and also the fact that they're going sort of remotely, you know, they want to escape sort of public eye and societal expectations. Who knows? But there's that element, because you never really know where they're going. But also the big moment of Bowen leaving his wedding ring behind at the gas station. Surface level, obviously, it's just a clue to the, you know, to get the police to leave a breadcrumb behind. But I think it's also a symbolic thing. You know, it's totally like it's totally like intentional or not. You know, it's a shredding, I think, of that bond between him and the unspoken wife that he's trying to escape from, to commit fully to ensuring that his partner survives. And the speech that Emmett gives, like on the rocks, you know, you're so dedicated to caring about each other and stuff. I think the wedding ring, the ambiguousness of their quote unquote fishing trip, and a lot of just like the little subtle intimacy moments that they have between them, where they're huddled together, and when he almost rides them down, Frank Lovejoy kind of cradles and caresses his partner that he just knocked out. I think there's a really sort of beautiful kind of rugged bond that they have.
Yeah, even if you don't look at it romantically, it's definitely a true absolute friendship, because there's multiple points throughout this movie where they could have easily abandoned one another, but no, they stick together closely. And
Yes.
it's almost, God, I hate to do the comparison. It's a lot like the movie Tarantula from 1957. No, I'm joking. It's a lot like Sam and Frodo from Lord of the Rings, a little bit.
Edmond O'Brien wasn't even that fat. Gollum.
Listen
But no,
here, I'm going to carry you to that mountain, boy.
Emmett, I think, is also, I didn't even mention, like, there's that part of it. He's sort of, that he kind of functions as that terrifying, hyper masculine control force, the toxic masculinity thing, tormenting them and, playing with their emotions. And I even think that could be like read as a metaphor to some extent.
Yeah. Well,
he's this violent masculine force that haunts them because of their, connection or bond or closeness.
Yes. I do have to ask you, though. So he's based, that character, Emmett, he is based on a real life murderer, and one of whom our director, Ada Lupino, actually, I know I probably said her name wrong.
That's close enough.
Okay, thank you. Met in real life. Do you want to kind of go a little more? I know you mentioned that at the before we started the movie. You want to kind of go a little more detail about that, because I'm kind of interested.
Yeah. So his real name, let me make sure it's a B name.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say Billy Cook. That's it.
Right.
So Ida Lupino was told this story by one of the surviving men, who this largely is taken and then extrapolated upon. And she was immediately invested and kind of pulled the method that what's his name? Truman Capote kind of pulled with the In Cold Blood killers to a much lesser extent, because she only visited him once when he was on death row, and she was terrified of him and never went to visit him again.
Right.
But there was a big thing at that time of, a fear of stories like this that were directly true crime related, and especially if the filmmaker were to speak with the actual criminal, because there was the fear of this sort of, telling the criminal's side and, being
glamorizing it, which is something that has been happening way too often. Like, oh God, the American Horror Story idiots doing Dahmer, and then just making that whole shite show.
Yeah, but no, she met with him once, and he said something like, "The fact is, I hate the world, and the world hates me." And he had like the actual eye problem that's in this movie. So things were changed around to skirt around certain things, like the names, obviously, of all those involved, and some of the details of his, what would you call it? His route, I guess. But
and some of the more nastier stuff he probably did too, because I'm reading here he murdered a family of 5.
Yeah, ruthless, scary dude. But just the fear of glamorizing or turning them into a tragic figure or anything like that. But he was sort of cut and dry a bad, cold person, and that's what Emmett is portrayed here with. Again, beautiful chops by William Talman.
Oh yeah,
but
good job, Talman.
So that was basically their one and done meeting. I don't think I would. If I were to ever make a film based off of a true crime sort of thing, I would have very hard conflictions about meeting with anybody involved, because that sort of puts me too close to one side of a story, or to the case, even to where I would feel conflicted as a storyteller. It's a hard sort of line to walk, putting like any director in that position. So I kind of fall in like a gray middle area on whether I think these type of movies that are, close enough in portraying, some events that happened, but still has a very large fictional narrative license to it, are a good or a bad thing fully.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that they did not glamorize Emmett Myers at all here. They kept him a pretty skeezy and terrible person. But no, big shout out to William Talman for just being a great actor and filling that role and doing that role doing that well.
Yes. Doing the job.
Yeah, good job with there. But no, our three leads were really good, and I just for the sake of information, the actor playing Captain Alvardo, our Galaxy Belt individual, he was played by Jose Tarve. So
Okay.
yeah, no, I like that character too. A minor character who comes through at the end. So, but yeah, I also have problems with ill-fitting belts like that. So, okay. Coybury, I hope I'm saying that right, says, Brokeback Mountain vibes, something about a bunch of guys alone together in the woods. Seems kind of ...
Well,
Okay. But no, this was...
I think this is like a trailblazing type of film in that area.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, although, again, it's the 1950s subtext, and I hate to say it, there's a lot of movies from the 50s where... You can tell the filmmaker isn't exactly interested in dealing with the bonds between men and women. And it's ironic that this film was directed and overseen by a woman because, Ida again, because there are some cases where you watch these movies and you think either the person making it hates women and doesn't want them in the movie, or that, maybe they'd rather prefer the company of their fellow dudes. And then you see similar things with a lot of movies from the 80s. So that says a lot. And now we're living in a current third age of this weird masculine toxicity. Yeah. But no. With that said, though, our lead heroes it's okay to call them lead heroes, right? They suffer through a lot. We got to give them a gold star at the end.
And they live happily ever after.
Yes,
they are freed of their freed of their captor, freed of their past women relationships.
They walk into the darkness, but it's a good walk into the darkness. So.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, no, our two lead heroes, it's like more power to them. There's it's very well written. Like two heroes you root for, but you don't want to see anything horrible happen to them. But they are all definitely on the not on the right side of the conflict, so to speak, in the sense that, they don't have no power or strength of their own. They're doing their best. And then you have such a vile villain too. And I kind of wish more movies were like that these days, because we do... there's a weird trend where we see too much emphasis on trying to make the villain likable or sympathetic. And the heroes are so kind of bland or overly invincible that you become bored and you take more of the villain side. And that's something that I even fall into that trap too, based on my personal preferences. But yeah, no, really, really like this one, Brayton. So, but yeah, it was kind of nerve-wracking. Again, that word's going to be repeated 8 times tonight. And this is kind of a movie you have to kind of be in the right mood to revisit. And it was a similar thing with Detour earlier too. So, but
very stripped down, character-driven suspense film. Powerhouse performances and a great just never letting go of your collar. Basically, it's a film that grabs you whenever it's very harrowing, and and I believe I'm reading here. This could be wrong because I don't remember his name in the credits, but Nicholas Musaraka did the cinematography on this film. At least this says.
Very nice.
And he did the cinematography on Out of the Past. So there's a connection there, which we watched a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the Past.
Yes.
Anybody?
Out of the Past. Which one was that one again?
Robert Mitchum.
Robert Mitchum, and it was like that. Oh God, he fell in love with a really dangerous lady or something.
Yes.
That's almost every film noir. What am I saying? I'm glad I saved a lot of these live streams and some of the video files you gave for the movies. I got to definitely revisit some of this. So I was even tempted, if we ever do another film noir month, in between the weeks, do repeats of the episodes we visited previously. Should have done that this month. But anyways, Brayton, as our penultimate addition to our Noirch month, this was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I gave you another not 2098, 100% weird stream tonight for this film noir thing.
Yes.
We're going to end our Noirch, our month of film noirs, this coming Sunday with. Or are you keeping a surprise?
Yeah, I'll tell people. The Killing, directed by Stanley Kubrick. Great heist film. Sterling Hayden. It's early black and white Stanley Kubrick, which to me was the heights of it were never touched again by him. My opinion. But he kind of lost his humanity a little bit once he got into the color age. No, the Killing is a wonderful film. Non-linear story structure. A lot of great noir staples. Elijah Cook Jr. will be making another appearance on that. Timothy Carey. It's a great film.
Carey.
Yes, co-written. It was adapted from a book called I think Clean Break, which was sort of like a dime store crime novel, but also co-written by now I'm forgetting his name. Hold on. Jim Thompson, that's it. Who also co-wrote Paths of Glory with Kubrick. So yeah, and it was Jim Thompson, by the way, was a famous crime fiction novelist. I'll talk all about this more Sunday.
Okay. No, we'll look forward to it. So, but yeah, there's a good reason why we haven't really been advertising that movie, because as you said, all the trailers related to it are just spoilers.
Which I hate to say it now, because don't watch the trailers if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, exactly. It's incredibly spoilery. Weirdly enough, it's just a picture of all the cast members' names on the back of chairs, and then it just cuts to Kubrick saying, "I'm directing this." Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that terrible reference.
I'd rather not.
Okay, so anyways, Tarantula. Okay, but no, next month when we come back with 100% Weird, I think we're going to go into a couple of science fiction monster movies. Although, Brayton, you're a good programmer, so I do deeply appreciate
I'm not taking over this sinking ship.
Come on, you got to help Bonobo Joe, especially after the time warp incident from last Sunday.
My God.
That was hilarious. It wasn't actually programming it during the time we did it, but...
Watch more Hammer stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we could do a couple of Hammer movies. But yeah. But no, a big shout out to Doomzilla, Shay, Coybury, Quibray. Sorry about that. Yeah, if I'm getting the name wrong. Mr. Bree, Mrs. Bree, and Warrior King for joining us throughout the night, and the consistent views to 5 to 7 guests throughout the whole night. So tonight was a very successful stream. But we're going to call it quits. It's late. And we're going to end with this chosen song, which Brayton has chosen for completely ironic reasons. I actually had some cool Leo Schifrin jazz film noir music ready to go, but But
God forbid we have a song called The Hitch-Hiker on a show about hitchhiking.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, the White Circle of Death. Hold on. Oh, there's always something here.
Fate just sticks out a foot and trips you, Raf.
I know. So it wasn't my fault the stream went crazy. It fell on the rock. It did what it had to do.
Yeah. 2 real-life killers in one stream. Again, the darkest one we've ever done, probably.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Oh, that's the little whistle saying we're done for the night.
Oh, that was Bilbo Baggins. Okay.
Yes. So ironic. So thanks for the stream. Peace. Thank you, Doomzilla. Thank you, Corbry, for joining us. Hopefully we'll see more of you in the future. So yeah, we're going to end the night with the most obvious. And this is the part where the audio is probably going to get muted in the archive, so apologies for that. But any last things you want to say to the audience, Brayton, or you think that's about it?
Don't stop for strangers.
Ever. You might go on a crazy adventure and a love spree with a woman who will slice you with her claws. Arg. So.
Web Proof. Directed by Quentin Tarantula.
Mm-hmm. Just to kind of separate the muting of the copyright audio with Quentin Tarantula. So he's just a giant. How big of a tarantula director is he?
Well, you know, sometimes it doesn't fucking matter, okay? How big of a tarantula I am, all right? Sometimes when I'm closer to the lens, I'm enormous, all right? I'm like bigger than Orson Welles, okay? But sometimes when I'm further back, I disappear into the shadows, all right? That's fucking cinema. I'm Quentin Tarantula. I eat flies.
I want you all to know, to acknowledge that this is a goddamn terrible pun excuse of a joke that we survived. I'm going to become a preacher after this. Okay. Good night, folks.
What if circumstances were to magnify one of them in size and strength, took it out of its primitive world and turned it loose in ours? Then expect something that's fiercer, more cruel and deadly than anything that ever walked the earth.
Even science was stunned. The new atomic miracle should have been mankind's greatest boon. Instead, when such power to cause phenomenal growth proved dangerously unstable, man was confronted with his most shocking blunder.
The isotope triggered our nutrient into a nightmare.
A blunder that transformed a tiny insect into the 100-foot spider that was now ravaging the panic-stricken countryside.